you guys have stated that the video was clear. So based on the video that you saw, you could tell that he was looking in his phone, and at some point he looked up and they were there.
Mm-hmm.
They were there.
Yep.
Yes.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
The video you saw, did you act? Well, I think you said that. You said that you saw
Yes.
them.
Yeah, you walked up to him. I mean, Karmelo never stood up. He was sitting all the time.
Exactly.
Right. The way that they're saying that one was, they said you could not have been sitting down. So you see what I'm saying? I'm just like, something, I don't know what it is, but this story does not add up.
Does not add up. Does not add up. Does not add up.
Everyone has an opinion on so-called conspiracy theories, and there's very little agreement. Some people think it's obvious 9/11 was an inside job. Other people think it's foolish to believe that. Some people think it's obvious that no one ever landed on the moon. Other people think it's ridiculous to question that. Tonight we're going to look at a conspiracy theory that I think more of us can agree on, but it's actually more than one theory that's all about the same incident, the 2025 knife murder of white teen Austin Metcalf by black teen Karmelo Anthony. America is having a crisis called black culture. It's not just a few black people, it's not just a loud minority. Black culture is itself insanity freefall. It is so severe that prominent black commentators are accusing a white murder victim of being the real criminal, while they call the black murderer the actual victim. Put your mask on and take a deep dive with us tonight as we plumb the depths of the Karmelo Conspiracy. If you wait until a controversial news story ages a little and falls off the front pages, you can analyze the reaction to it with less noise and a little more clarity. That's what we're going to do tonight with the murder of Austin Metcalf by Karmelo Anthony. In a few minutes, I'm going to refresh you on the facts of the case and the timeline. Everyone saw how black people reacted in public to this crime. It was the O.J. Simpson response from 1995 all over again, but more violent, more depraved, and more brazen than anything we've ever seen. The family of convicted murderer Karmelo Anthony raised more than $500,000 in donations, and very quickly, because their son killed a white boy. Because their son killed a white boy. That's what raised them money. Black people opened their wallets to pay that family out of pleasure that a black boy killed a white boy. There is no comparator on the white side of the ledger. We don't act that way. News anchors, politicians, community leaders, all the way down to Keisha and Tyrone on TikTok, all of them participated. They claimed that baby boy Karmelo didn't do nothing. And if he did something, it's because he was a victim. He was being bullied. He was jumped. Yeah, I'm doing the voice. It's absurd. Them white boys targeted him. Them prosecutors was in bed with the other white men and they was going to frame him. I'm not exaggerating. This is exactly what they sound like in content and vocal affectation. It is fucking disgusting. You're going to see tonight how much more disgusting some of it was, beyond what you've probably imagined. And no, of course, not all black people. Yes, many black people. The loudest black people. Famous black people. Prominent black people. Everyday black people without famous names. This was not an example of a small number of the insane making the great silent majority look bad. I've seen no evidence that this great silent majority of black people even exists. How can we know them? If they're silent, how do we know they're even there? I don't believe that there's a great silent majority of black people who disagree with this. The past 10 years have convinced me that black America has a serious problem of moral corruption. It's not just a few. Black culture itself has become, and perhaps has been for a long time, clinically psychopathic, narcissistic. If the population we were describing were anyone but American black people, who we in the States have been trained for 60 years to worship, to fear, and to make exceptions for, sane politicians would be calling this a national emergency, because it is a national emergency. The crime rate from blacks is unbelievable. It is almost comically high. The rate of welfare recipients is absurd. To a close approximation, the average black is raised by a slut for a mother with no father in the house because he's in prison or pimping. Hard to hear? I don't care. We don't have any more time for that's hard to hear. At least since the Great Society welfare state that was cooked up by President Johnson in the mid-60s, white America has coddled, suckered, and indulged black America in its worst aspects. We have raised not just a spoiled child, but a clinically diagnosable psychopathic child. Black America today is what the very worst spoiled children look like when they get old enough to do harm and enter the criminal justice system, or as we say today, criminal justice involved. Yes, black people are responsible for their own behavior like all other people are. But yes, also, at the same time, white America, mostly, but not only Democrats, white America is partly responsible, largely responsible for creating this monster, or at least for preparing a comfortable brood spot for the monster to create itself. And it has. This episode goes deep into the conspiratorial narrative that many black commentators have spun out to explain why murderer Karmelo Anthony was the real victim here. You're going to see claims that Hunter Metcalf, Austin's twin brother, that Hunter was actually the one who killed his brother Austin. You're going to hear claims that the Metcalf brothers stalked Karmelo Anthony and targeted him. You're going to hear claims that Karmelo was known to be extraordinarily kind, so kind, in fact, that he defended retarded school children from those Metcalf bullies, and that's why they went after him. Yeah, you're going to hear that and more. You will hear claims that the Metcalf brothers jumped Karmelo Anthony at the Fatal Track meet. You're going to hear claims that there's video evidence of all of this and that it is so clear that you can see raindrops in the stadium in the surveillance footage. You will hear black commentators accuse father Jeff Metcalf of being the one who really killed his son. Obviously, none of this is true, but you will hear people who believe it's true. You will also hear people who know that it is not true, but who have no moral compunctions that would stop them from saying that it's true if it serves their purpose. These commentators propose a ridiculously elaborate and implausible conspiracy among the victim's family, among the prosecutors, the media, basically any white people within 100 feet of them, all to railroad that baby Karmelo. It's beyond implausible, it's impossible. But before we dive in, I want to give a note on what people call conspiracy theories. That's a shut up phrase. It means shut up. It's used to silence people who say things that make other people uncomfortable. And the tossing around the accusation of conspiracy theorist has done real damage to the concept of actual conspiracies. Conspiracies are real. They happen every day. Anytime just two people get together and plan a project that they keep concealed, either for good or bad, that's a conspiracy. Kevin's mom is a school teacher. She's a retired school teacher. She says about this, what do you mean people don't believe in conspiracies? I was a kindergarten teacher. Kids conspired behind my back every single day. She's right. We have forgotten that conspiracies are not only real, but that they're normal. They're just bog standard. Conspiracy is not a synonym for something ridiculous like magical levitation powers that can't be real. That's not what the word conspiracy means. But we treat it as if it does mean that because of the incessant mockery that comes from people who yell conspiracy theory anytime they hear something they don't like. It's a tactic to make a person we don't want to hear from look crazy and look non-credible. But tonight, I'm going to go through actually crazy conspiracy theories about the Karmelo Anthony case. They're not crazy because they propose a conspiracy. They're crazy because the conspiracy they propose is implausible, irrational, and impossible. Let me refresh you on the facts of the case. On April 10th, 2025, 17-year-old white Austin Metcalf was attending a track meet at a school stadium in Frisco, Texas. He was under a tent. He was sitting under a tent that was erected to house his school's team. Every team had a tent. Other students and team members were there under the tent with him. Karmelo Anthony, black teen, was also 17 years old. He did not go to the same school. He was not a student at Austin's high school, and he did not have the right to sit under Austin's team's school tent, right? Their tent, not his. But he went and did it anyway. As the designated team leader, Austin was, as the team leader, Austin told Karmelo to leave the tent. You're not authorized to be here. They didn't know each other. He was a stranger, Karmelo was to him. This is normal, everyday behavior. Every day people tell other people, if they come to places and they sit in places they're not entitled to, normal people tell them to leave. When it's more serious than walking under a tent, we call that behavior trespassing. Karmelo refused to leave, and he was clearly looking for trouble. It turns out he came to the track meet with a knife in his bag against school rules. He was obviously trying to provoke a confrontation, and boy did he. When Karmelo refused to leave, he repeatedly taunted Austin. He was provoking. He repeatedly said Austin can't make him leave. And then he escalated to telling Austin, put your hands on me and see what happens. Very familiar behavior from black people. So Austin shoved Karmelo like this. We'll see it on camera, and it was shown in court. It was a shove. It was not more than a shove. It wasn't a punch. It was not painful. It wasn't dangerous. Immediately, within 1 second of Austin shoving Karmelo, Karmelo took his knife and stabbed Austin right in the heart. You'll see it. Karmelo then ran from the tent and tried to blend in with the crowd at the stadium so he could get away. He knew what he was doing, and when the cops caught up with him on the scene, he started wailing and crying that Austin, he put his hands on me and I told him not to. He also admitted to the cops that he did in fact stab Austin, and then immediately asked the cops if what he did qualified for self-defense. No, Karmelo was not a very smart boy. He was arrested and then immediately sprung on house arrest by a sympathetic judge of color. His parents started an online fundraiser allegedly to help with their son's defense. In just days, they collected more than $500,000. Many of the notes that came with those donations expressed glee and happiness at Austin's death, praise for Karmelo's actions, and they characterized him as a poor black boy done wrong. Karmelo's parents hired an illiterate, stupid, and evil man named Dominique Alexander, who we will meet later. This man has a conviction for child abuse. He violently shook an infant and got nabbed for it. He's a scammer who runs alleged community organizations to line his pockets. Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, went to the Anthony family's press conference the next day. Yes, it is very strange that the accused perpetrator of a murder, that his family held a press conference. It is strange. Welcome to being black. They were already starting the narrative that their poor black boy was being, quote, railroaded. Naively, Jeff Metcalf attended the Anthony family press conference so that he might pray with them. That's what he said. For his trouble, retard Dominique Alexander called the cops and threw Jeff Metcalf out. Dominique then returned to the podium and slandered Jeff Metcalf in garbled Ebonics. Fast forward 1 year to this year, 2026. Within that past year, the loudest public voices from the black community alleged that Karmelo hadn't done anything wrong, that he was jumped by Austin and Hunter Metcalf. Remember that those boys were twins. They alleged that Karmelo was just defending himself, that there was a racist conspiracy to frame him, that Hunter Metcalf actually murdered his brother and pinned it on Karmelo, that Jeff Metcalf, the father, murdered his son by teaching Austin that he owned black people and had the right to violate their boundaries. And Austin had it coming for trying to eject Karmelo from a place that Karmelo had no right to be. Yes, it has been that insane. Yes, it has been that psychopathic. This is Black America, audience. This is what it is. It's what it's been for decades. Nevertheless, shockingly, Karmelo Anthony was in fact convicted of murder on June 9th, 2026 and sentenced to 35 years in prison. Let's start this out by showing a little bit of the surveillance camera footage from the stadium. The tape that was finally released is silent and it runs for a full 11 minutes. Well, we're only going to show a couple of portions that are relevant, but you can find this surveillance footage online and you can verify everything I'm going to tell you with your own eyes. The footage is not clear enough to discern many details. That's because what we see is a zoom in on footage that was taken with a wide-angle lens that was covering the whole stadium. You're going to see people moving. You'll be able to see the stabbing, but you won't be able to make out any detail. If you didn't know who the people were in this scuffle, you wouldn't be able to identify them just by watching this video. Now, keep all of this in mind, because the commentary that we're going to show features at least 3 black people who claim that they saw this video in person. They went to an in-person viewing in Frisco, Texas. They claim that the video is crystal clear enough to see individual raindrops. Their claims are so confused that it is not clear to me whether they're talking about this video or some putative notional other video that doesn't actually exist. So this surveillance footage, these clips we're going to show you come from the the YouTube channel Hype Plus. There's no sound. You'll see that there are arrows on the screen telling you what you're seeing at various points. I can't vouch for the accuracy of all of them. They appear accurate to me based on the reporting, but it does show the moment where Austin Metcalf shoves Karmelo Anthony and then Karmelo stabs him in return. So let's just look at a couple of about 12 seconds from the original. This is where Karmelo Anthony walks in to that tent he's not supposed to be in. Yeah, so this is Karmelo getting in. We can go to the next one, Kevin. Let's put that up. All right. This is where we've jumped ahead several minutes. It looks like this is the beginning of the argument. So this is within the first 5 minutes of arrival here. And the last clip we're going to show you, again, this is an 11-minute video. I'm not going to make you sit through that. That wouldn't be good television. Let's go to the final third clip here. Austin Metcalf is telling Karmelo to leave here, but you're going to see the stabbing, the shove and the stabbing. So keep watching under that tent. There's just people walking by here. As you can see from this, it's... Okay, Metcalf pushes Karmelo. Now, did you see how quickly that came back? Did you see Karmelo... there? Now, Carmelo's running. See him? You see him? He's circled there. He's running away after he stabbed him. He's going to slow down in a minute and pretend that he's just part of the crowd. You can see what he's trying. He's trying to figure out what to do on the fly. Now he's just pretending he's a pedestrian. Now he's running again. He's going to slow down again and try to blend in. Now, yep, he's slowing down again. Yep, he's just a pedestrian, just like anybody else. Mens rea, folks. He knew what he was doing. I think that's the end of that. You can rewind this episode of the show and watch that. In fact, I suggest you do that when the show is over. Rewind this. Watch how quickly Austin shoves and Karmelo immediately, it's not even a full 1 second, comes back with a knife. He was ready. He intended to kill him. This was premeditated. I don't care what court said. It's obvious. So you can see that the video isn't clear enough to identify individual people without guidance and notes on it. You can see that it's blurry from having been zoomed in on. It's possible to see the altercation, but you wouldn't know it was a stabbing unless you were told. But this has been verified. This is not in controversy. So I want you to remember what you just saw here when you hear the claims in a few minutes from these black commentators about what they say they saw on video. Let's get into it. What is coming next here? Almost all of this show started with a whole bunch of research done by my friend, the writer called Holly the Math Nerd, who writes on Substack. You should definitely read her on Substack. She's great value. She annotated these videos and wrote a very detailed article about this on her Substack that will it gets into more depth than we can do in 1 hour here. Consider her the co-writer and researcher on this episode. So first up, we've got a YouTube channel called Almost Making It. This guy is a white commentator. He's taking to task a black commentator named Morris Dwayne Turner, who lies repeatedly and brazenly. Turner has been all over the black YouTube circuit telling fibs. Let's roll number 40.
Morris Dwayne Turner spent nearly 4 minutes describing what he claimed happened in the Karmelo footage. I could shorten his video, but I'm not going to do that. I want you to hear every bullshit detail he tells with ease and every part of the story he appears to have made up. Listen to the whole thing. Here it is right now.
Seen the video was on 2 hours. Was it clear enough or was it fuzzy or what?
No, it was clear. It was clear enough to where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the camera.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Karmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain or?
Yeah, it was still raining. You know,
right.
I'm from Little Elm. So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning. And we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already. And so during that time when that happened, the twins, their two buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those 4 that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract him a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Karmelo. You know, if you're Karmelo.
And they showed that on that video.
It's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see them walk
I'm gonna
up.
say little
And
stuff.
I'll put it this way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here, there are 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And
If
so
you're
they
seeing
were-
on your screen this part, he must have been
Yeah, it
confused, and the young boy. I'm going to explain this to you later. That we can probably stop with that. That's enough. You've heard all this nonsense. I am going to explain to you what this comment means. He must have been confused when he drove 200 miles to meet a young boy. That's the video commentator referring to Morris Dwayne Turner. And oh yeah, there's a reason he says it. So, Turner claims he saw a video that was so clear you could see individual raindrops and that you could see people walking up to the tent. No, there's no such video that shows that. He says that you can see Hunter and Austin Metcalf walking up to the tent. That's not true. They were already under the tent when that video started. He says the video shows 4 kids, quote, surrounding Karmelo. That's not true. You didn't see it on the video. He says those 4 kids jumped Karmelo. That's not true. You did not see that on the video. He says, quote, Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. Not true, and you didn't see that on the video because it didn't happen. Next up, we've got, this is from a YouTube channel with a host called Nique at Night, Nique, I guess that's her name. She has almost 400,000 subscribers. In this clip, Nique talks to Anthony family spokesman Dominique Alexander, who I talked to you about a minute ago. Let's roll number 50, please.
Like, I told somebody earlier today, listen, I'm not the oppressor. Focusing on me trying to do this, saying who did this, who did that, all of that doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
What matter is that a baby was railroaded in a courtroom.
A baby.
It was lack of transparency in so many different things, and we
A
have to move
baby.
forward. I'm not an attorney. I can't argue a case. I can't present an evidence. I can't do anything but continue to do whatever I can to ensure that that this family is supported. And they have to make that decision now, just like they are making that decision of an appeals attorney. And what they're going to do with that
He can't
appeals
even
attorney
speak.
is make that decision, and they're going to call the Next Generation Action Network. And what we're going to do, just like everybody heard me say, we gonna write the first $10,000 check to it.
All right. So, I think that's amazing, and I'm glad that they have someone that can, help along the way. What I want to know is the video, right? Taking it back to the case, there's so many conflicting stories about this video. Now, what we saw inside the courtroom was a grainy, hard to see video, but there was a lot of people outside the courtroom who said that they went to ISD and watched the footage and said that it was clear, and they said that they saw more than what we were shown. Can you speak on that?
Well, so Nick,
Listen,
I
listen.
wasn't
He
in there,
slips and
right?
slides and
But
elides.
I can tell
Listen.
you, I did see the video at Frisco ISD, and the video that at Frisco ISD, it's not like you can sit there and look at the pimple on someone's face, but you can identify what's there, right? In front of you. And so what has been described to me, is like,
There's the
no, you could
slippage.
at least kind of know and count how many
Did you
people right
watch it?
there.
Well,
What
we
I
Or
can
was it
count how many
described to you?
bodies, but we can't see like faces. You know what I mean? Like we could see like, okay, somebody sitting right there, somebody sitting right there, but we couldn't see like Karmelo in Austin's face, or you know what I mean? It just was like kid.
Notice that did you see that he was looking down and scrolling his phone? Right? Real professional, right? So he moves from saying, I don't know if you caught this. He said that he went down to Frisco, I don't know, ISD, goddamn acronyms with these school districts. The school district, might it be integrated school district? So he says he went down there and he himself saw that video. But then immediately he moves to saying, well, what has been described to me about that video sees no need to reconcile the two. She didn't see any need. I don't even know if she noticed it. That's enough of a setup. After the break, we are going to visit with YouTuber Lakeisha Keisha. Yes, that is her brand name. And some nice grandmotherly black ladies she brought on who are stone cold sociopathic liars. They too will claim that they saw a crystal clear video in person that no one else on earth has seen. So let's go out, though, before the break with rapper and YouTuber 59-year-old man Willie D, who has more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Here, he calls the judge in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial a cockroach, and he assures you that the surveillance video shows Karmelo getting jumped.
What's up, family? Judge Cockroach, who presided over the Karmelo Anthony trial, has finally released the video footage that the world has been wanting to see. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, fam, there's a lot of speculation on both sides. If you ask the people on Karmelo's side, the video clearly shows him getting jumped. If he asked the people on Austin Metcalf's side, the video clearly shows that he didn't get jumped. The video is blurred, but I'm gonna tell you straight up, fam, it looked like he got jumped to me.
Listen, I'm not the oppressor. Focusing on me trying to do this, saying who did this, who did that.
All of that doesn't even matter.
I offer private 1-hour coaching and consulting sessions. It's not therapy. I'm not a degreed mental health therapist, and I'm not offering you credentialed mental health therapy. What I'm offering you is an educated ear with experience, somebody who has lived through child abuse, domestic abuse, and a lot of narcissistic relationships. And I can't solve your problems for you, but I can help you see your problems more clearly. I can at least give you an outsider's perspective on your situation if you're feeling like you're drowning in it yourself and you can't think your way out of it. And it doesn't actually have to be about that. If you want to talk about what's going on in the world, if you want to talk about how to get along at work, if you want to talk about how to deal with people in your field or profession who are a lot more politically woke than you are, I have a lot of clients who come to me for that too. So if that sounds good, my calendar's got space in July. Check out joshuaslocum.net, and you can find my calendar, find a time. If you don't find a time and day that works for you, just click on the contact button, send me an email through the website, let me know when you're available, and if I can make time for you off my listed hours, I will happily do so. And as a reminder, I will do sliding scale. My rates are $125 an hour for first-time clients. They are $95 an hour for returning clients or for people who are monthly supporters of the show. Thank you very much. But for you, if that's not what you can meet, talk to me and I'll meet you where you are. Other people have done it for me and I'm happy to offer that to you. joshuaslocum.net. Let's meet YouTuber Lakeisha Keisha. She's got 117,000 followers, and we're going to play you about 20 seconds of her intro that she prefaces all her videos with. Now, take a look on your screen. I want you to look at the right. One of her guests today is somebody called Sierra207. Take a good look at her. Get that face in there. Memorize that face. Look at that woman. She appears to be a fairly young, attractive woman. Keep that face in mind because you're going to see Sierra207 live. And I want you to think to yourself if she looks like that. So let's play that intro.
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, Keisha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Keisha, Keisha.
Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Baby hair pumping, lip gloss shining. I think she's in the mood for whining and dining. Now, Keisha's guests tonight are two women. They go by the handles One Who Intrigues and Sierra207. You might notice, well, I've already told you about that. Keep in mind that picture of what Sierra207 looked like on that intro picture. Now, first up, we have One Who Intrigues, who tells a story about a video that she claims to have seen in person and what she describes as not seen on the surveillance video that you and I watched. We'll roll it out.
So anyway, you see the four boys come in. They go into the canopy. They go directly and stand in front of Karmelo. And for a few minutes, few seconds, they're just standing there. So I'm assuming they're having the verbal exchange. And then all of a sudden you see movement, you see arms, you see ducking, and then it goes pretty quick. And then all of a sudden you see Karmelo, he pulls out a little bit, he comes back in.
Right.
When he goes out again, I don't know if he rolls back, falls back or whatever, but he goes back. He stands up. He takes a few steps up, a couple of bleachers. And then he looks around and then he starts running to my right down the bleachers diagonally. He falls at the bottom. He quickly gets up and he continues to run. Now, on the screen that we're looking on, he runs out of the frame. And then you see 3 boys coming behind him. Now, at the same time you see the 3 boys, you see one of the boys stop. Austin is coming down the stairs and Austin collapses.
Right. Okay.
When the boy that stops turns around, he sees Austin, and then he stops chasing Karmelo and he goes towards where Austin is. He never makes it to Austin. And then you see other people that come by and they're assisting Austin, after he collapsed. It takes a while for the ambulance to arrive.
Ambulance. Take a while for the ambulance to arrive. Okay, so the real video shows nothing that she's describing. You can't even make out who is who. Everything she describes didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's not there. But wait, there's more. Here we go. Now, remember what I told you about that nice pretty lady on the right-hand side of the screen in her promotional picture?
If you, they absolutely jumped him. He was looking downward at his phone when they appeared in front of him. So it was a surprise. One. He looks up, oh, there's all these big burly looking boys around me. What am I gonna do? So it was an attack on him. I couldn't imagine what was going through his mind when he looks up and he couldn't walk out as he walked in. If he was going to get out another way, he would have had to jump over them, which wasn't an option. Right. So his only way out was crawling out the backside of that canopy, getting away.
Right.
So there you go.
And you could obviously, because you guys have stated that the video was clear. So based on the video that you saw, you could tell that he was looking in his phone, and at some point he looked up and they were there.
Mm-hmm.
They were there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see them walk up? The video you saw, did you act? Well, I think you said that. You said that you saw them walk.
Yeah, you see him walk up to him. I mean, Karmelo never stood up. He was sitting all the time.
Exactly.
Right. And that's another reason why I'm wondering, okay, because the way that they're saying this wound was, they said you could not have been sitting down. So you see what I'm saying? I'm just like, something, I don't know what it is, but this story does not add up.
Well, the medical examiner, she did say that that's the only way that wound could have happened, because Karmelo is like 5'7", 5'8". And the twins, one is 6 feet and one is 6'4". I mean 6'2". Sitting down, he can't. I mean, you would have to like reach up. You know what I'm saying? And where he was punctured at is down here. So he had to be leaning over him like this for that. And then with the amount of pressure, no, Freedom, stop. With the amount of pressure and force that needed for the way it penetrated, he had to have fell. He had to have fell on that tool.
Okay. All right. They're twins, right? They're twins. One is 6 foot, one is 6'4". And what's with the breastises? They've also, I don't know if we had it in that clip, but they have been, all of these commentators have been calling the knife that Karmelo used to stab Austin? A tool. They won't call it a knife. They will not call it. It's a tool. They've also been calling it a poker. A poker. And they've said that Karmelo gave him a little poke. It's cute, right? Poke. Fucking bitches. So here, we've got the next video here. Here is Sierra 207 claiming that she watched a 45-minute video that no one else on earth has seen.
The actual video that I watched was anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes long. As one who stated, the colors are vivid. There's no mistaking. I mean, you could see colors. You could see the birds flying. You could see. I saw a black and purple umbrella that I really want. I want. I still want that umbrella. But yeah, the colors were very vivid. You could see clearly what was going on. Nothing pixelated, nothing snowy or grainy. From what we saw. Right. Karmelo is sitting under the canopy by himself.
Okay. The colors are vivid. You could see them. You could see birds flying. You could see a black and purple umbrella that you might want because that's very cute. There was nothing pixelated. And Karmelo was sitting under the canopy by himself. Audience, you saw the surveillance video. None of that's real. You know, I wrote to myself here in my notes, do they know they're lying? It's unclear. Actually, it's not unclear to me now. This is about the fourth or fifth time I've watched this particular clip. This woman knows she's lying. She knows what she's doing. She's doing it on purpose. So they have seen... you know what? Let's it just gets worse from here. Let's go into number 120, and this is where they're going to describe how Karmelo got away. Now, I want you to remember before you watch this. Remember what you saw. You saw Karmelo Anthony after you could see the shove and the immediate stab back, and then immediately Karmelo Anthony ran down the bleachers and out there. So remember that you saw that, and then compare that to what she claims she saw on video.
On the back side of this canopy and on the very last seat where the canopy covered. He's sitting there looking downward at his phone. People are filtering in and out, you know, passing, sitting, going in, sitting down, or whatever. But then there is a group of 6 individuals walking like they were on a mission. That was the difference there. They was walking aggressively. 2 of them veered off, so I didn't pay attention to those 2. 4 of them, however, went directly up to Karmelo, passing adults on their way up to Karmelo, okay? They stood directly in front of Karmelo, surrounding him, not offering a pathway out, either end. There were seats available in front of Karmelo where they could have sat down, but they never sat down.
Right.
I saw a hand gesture as if someone was throwing something out or directing someone out. It was a hand gesture. I can't verify what the hand gesture actually was.
Was it
the
during
next thing?
when you say you saw a hand gesture, are you saying like when they were surrounding him?
Yes.
Okay.
You see the commotion that started almost immediately when the boys or individuals got Karmelo surrounded or stood in front of Karmelo. It was almost immediate. The next thing I see is Karmelo crawling out of the backside of the canopy on his backside, like a army crawl.
She says Karmelo was crawling out of the tent on his backside like an army crawl or a crab crawl. That never happened. You didn't see it on the video because it didn't happen. None of what she described happened. There were no 6 individuals. There were no surrounding Karmelo. There was no hand gesture. You didn't see any of that because it didn't happen. What I'm showing you tonight is just a sampling of hours and hours of tall tales from these commentators. I couldn't possibly fit all of this into one episode and keep your attention. This is a small sampling. Here, take a look. Here's a log of the time codes that Holly and I worked from putting this together. That's just one of 3 pages. That's how bad this stuff is. So let's jump ahead to these ladies' claims about Austin Metcalf's parents, Jeff and Megan. These women called every single witness who testified in this trial for the prosecution, they called every single one of them liars. They said that every one of those teens who were there and who testified for the prosecution, they said each one of them lied on the stand. In this clip we're going to show you, the other lady, one who intrigues, said the Metcalfs tried to destroy the Anthony family so that the Anthony family, the murderer's family, couldn't defend themselves.
Do Christians involve themselves into destroying one's life?
Exactly.
But that's all, you know what? That's all about the control that they have in society.
Right.
You know, because their whole thing is to destroy them so he would never be able to defend himself in court.
Right.
And it seems like they don't want his dad, to be able to provide a family for them or a living or any financial support ever again. I don't care how you look at that. That's intimidation, that's harassment, and it's bullying.
And it's all out evil.
It's definitely evil. Yeah,
it's too all out evil.
It's too much energy to put towards someone else's life. It's weird. When I saw that, I said, this is I've never saw anything like this, that you are putting forth your energy to try to stop another person from providing a life that they had already been providing, which is odd. Yeah, I saw that.
What's odd to me is that you don't see that. You don't see that. You're doing the same thing, but in your mind, it's okay for you to do it.
Right.
Because their son unalived some kid.
Right.
That really deserved it because he shouldn't have put his hand.
Did you hear that? He really deserved it because he shouldn't have put his hand on him. He deserved it. He deserved to be fucking killed. With no exaggeration, I've seen a lot. You've heard me talk about a lot of things that have shocked me on this show. In my life, I have never heard a more clear example of reversal and projection than what you just heard here. What this woman described, she's talking about white people in general and the Metcalf family in particular. Oh, the control they have in society. They're trying to destroy them so they can never defend themselves. She is talking about what black people do to white people. It's a complete reverse. This is how bad it is. Everything they accuse the Metcalfs of is what Karmelo Anthony actually did. What his parents did to try to destroy the Metcalfs. And what these ladies want to see done to white people who are victimized by violent blacks. So let's hear from the ladies just a couple more times before the next break. And after that, because we're going to hear from Morris Dwayne Turner again after the break. You met him earlier in the show. He goes straight for the parents and well, actually, let me not spoil it. Let's go back to Keisha here. Let's roll number 150, Keisha 6, please.
Well, I heard that the father stated that the boys were getting a scholarship, but I haven't heard any evidence of that. As a matter of fact, I haven't even gotten any evidence that Austin had a 3 point anything grade score.
Well, no, they
GPA. Yeah.
4.0.
Yeah.
He's
Right, a 4.0.
yeah.
I haven't heard anyone mention that since his dad mentioned it.
I saw that, but you know what I thought? I said, is he just jealous because Karmelo had like a 3.8? So he said, well, if he had a 3.8, I'm gonna say, Austin had a 4 point. When I saw that, I said, is this real or is he just saying this? Because I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Because he claimed all these schools were,
Recruiting.
yeah, recruiting his boys, and they sucked at football. So why would they be recruiting?
Woo! Austin is jealous of Karmelo Anthony, so the parents, oh my God, they're jealous of that black scholar because that black scholar, Karmelo Anthony, had 3.7 or 3.8. This woman calls herself one who intrigues. She's vicious. She's a malignant narcissist. And I think she knows she's lying too. She just doesn't have a conscience. She's taking pleasure in insulting this murdered child and his parents because she knows it will hurt his parents. That's why she does it. She's a sadist. Take a look at what Keisha's audience thinks is a difficult grade point average to achieve. Look at that on your screen. The comment says, the 3.7 grade point average that Anthony has didn't just happen overnight. However, dumb is forever. You know how hard you have to work to get a whole 3.7? That didn't just happen overnight. I'd be jealous too. I put myself through college, working full-time, while I went to school full-time at a snotty, expensive, selective liberal arts school. I did a lot of drugs and a lot of drink. I worked a full-time job, and I had a 4.0. That was work. Now, we learn that Karmelo was not only a scholar, but the ladies tell us he was a saint. 170, please.
Made for greatness.
He is.
And he's
Well,
going to
Karmelo
live
is made for
forever
greatness.
in our minds and hearts.
Yes, he's gonna come out of this and he's gonna do marvelous things. So Jeff
Well,
Metcalf, just wait.
he was already an asset to his community. He was already a individual of upstanding. Look, this young man, I wish both my boys had his qualities.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
2 jobs,
Right.
help at home,
Right.
went to church, A student. Come on.
Right.
Come on.
That's what we want, right? That's why I said
That's what
I
we want.
not help them. Like, what did he do that was so bad? He is everything that we teach our
He
kids to get
murdered
grades,
somebody.
get you a job. And also somebody told me that because I know they're running this narrative that they didn't know each other, I feel like they knew of each other. I mean, there's no way that you're in sports and you don't know of this other person. Somebody
Right.
told me that those boys would mess with people when they would come to the school. And I heard that Karmelo was advocating for, I guess, some kind of like a special needs kids or
Right.
something. There was
Correct.
something with him sticking up for students, and they came for him. They set up to come for him that day. They were going to pay him back for opening his mouth, for taking up for students in the.
So Keisha says that she had heard. If you notice that a lot, I had heard, somebody had told me that Karmelo Anthony defended a special needs kids against the Metcalf boys, who came to school specifically to harass retarded kids. Saint Karmelo. Those Metcalf boys came for him because they hated Karmelo for stopping the Metcalf boys from bullying retards. I want a graphic of Karmelo in blue robes on the half shell gazing down at a baby with Down syndrome. Will we find out that Karmelo was a virgin and the mother of our Lord too? Let's wrap up with some libel, actual libel, about Hunter Metcalf, Austin's twin, who held his brother in his arms as he bled out and died after that human piece of shit, Karmelo Anthony, stabbed him in the heart.
Getting ready to call Hunter to the stand.
Well,
Why
there was a
didn't
lot of
Hunter-
speculation that
Why
they
didn't
were
Hunter
looking
take
for
the
him.
stand? Why didn't Hunter take the stand?
Look,
I'm going to say because if Hunter have been called to the stand, all the lies that he previously told in all of those interviews, they were up for to ask.
Grab.
Yeah. All of his behavior, anything, you can ask anything. So I think, but here's the deal. Why wasn't he still forced? Because he could have still been subpoenaed. So I don't understand that either, because it doesn't matter if he wanted to testify. Karmelo was the only one that didn't have to take the stand. You can't force him because he's the defendant, right? You can't force him to take the stand, but everybody else, even if they didn't want to come, they could be subpoenaed. Why didn't his attorney force him to come to take the stand?
Or was that the fight?
So here's my thing. If he was the key eyewitness and his brother, died in his arms, and he was up there when all the, I can't talk about that, he got aggressive. If you're the key witness, why didn't the prosecution call you?
Yeah. I got the same question.
If anything, you definitely should have been on the witness stand. You are the key element
on the witness stand.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that right there made me think, like, what is going on? Like, why wouldn't you take the witness stand to testify? And that was my first, like, okay, something ain't right here, because he never took the stand. But then they still were able to get a conviction. Yeah, I said, yeah.
And see, me as a juror, him not taking a stand would have been a big red flag for me. You've been all over television talking about what you witnessed, and you can't come to the stand and tell the jury what you witnessed. Right. That would have been a big red flag for me, because I already know he been lying.
Right.
But I think he would have got too tripped up in his lies.
Okay. If you still have anything left to vomit up, get a fresh sick bag and come back after the break. Keisha's going to lie some more and host some co-liars who will libel the father, Jeff Metcalf. You're going to be surprised, probably, at what these people are willing to say. As far as I can see, these statements that we're going to hear, they amount to actual libel, not metaphorical libel, actual actionable libel. The kind that Jeff Metcalf, I think, could win in court. And libel cases are notoriously hard to win under U.S. law. You have to prove that the person who made the statement knew that what he was saying was false, and that he did it with malicious intent or reckless disregard. It's a very high bar, but I think it meets that bar. So see what you think after we come back from the break.
Get you a job.
When I'm feeling fatigued, faint, and hungry, I reach for biltong from biltongusa.com. What is biltong? Well, if you like beef jerky, you will love this, because it's a level much higher than beef jerky. Biltong is the South African way of curing very thinly sliced meat with vinegar and spices. I'd never had it before I met our sponsor, Anton Van Vuren, and his family, who run BiltongUSA.com from their family facility in Texas. I'd never had it before. I love it. I've always liked, I like meat. And I've always liked cured meat. I like beef jerky. I like Slim Jims. This is gourmet. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. And what I really like about it, aside from the fact that it tastes good, because I mostly eat things that I like the taste of, it's actually good for you. It's just animal protein and animal fat, and it is succulent and delicious. There's no carbohydrates, there's no sugar in it. It's not going to give you an insulin spike and then a blood sugar crash. This is a much, much better choice for your afternoon meal or your midday snack than a bag of Pringles. I've replaced all of my chips and crisps with this stuff. I usually get a small plate of biltong from the fresh pouch bag, and I put some nice Vermont cheddar next to it. It's wonderful. It's also really good if you throw it in a hot pan and toss it in with some eggs. So I would love to have you try our sponsor's product. Go to BiltongUSA.com. Check out the different varieties. There are many spice levels. You can get it mild with no heat at all the way up to burn your tongue off with ghost pepper. And depending on what's in season and available, sometimes you can get exotic meats like venison. So check it out. And when you're on BiltongUSA.com, check out their nice sideline in European imported grocery treats. Some delicious stuff is in there. Be sure to use promo code JOSH to get 10% off your order at BiltongUSA.com. Every day, another smart but small podcast starves to death because no one cares. Would you like to help one small podcast keep growing? Sure, we all do, and you can, starting at just $5 a month with a paid subscription to support Disaffected at subscribestar.com/disaffected, or you can become a supporting member through Substack at disaffectedpod.substack.com. Let's meet up with professional liar Morris Dwayne Turner once again. You met him a little bit earlier in the show, claiming that he had seen a surveillance video that was so clear that you could see individual raindrops. Now, here is where Turner claims that he saw a totally different video that no one else has seen and that doesn't actually exist. He joins our friend Keisha.
Actual differences. I mean, we can zoom in, but when you saw the video at Frisco, how much clearer was that? Like, what more were you able to make out? Again, we can zoom in it and we can see movement, but when you saw your video at Frisco, what was more clearer to you than us actually watching this video?
Yes, I'll talk about the 11-minute video because that's what everybody that did a PRR request and a FOIA request, that's what they saw. It was actually this same camera. The camera was actually zoomed over just a little bit to your left, a little bit more, and it was fixed. And what they did is they actually lowered it down toward the ground a little bit. And so you could actually see a white gentleman and his wife. They were standing there the whole time with he had his hand like this because he was looking at what the boys were doing. And it was actually zoomed in just a little bit more. And so you can see the raindrops even more clearer than you see it here.
More clearer.
You can actually see a bird fly by as well, which you see birds flying by here as well, but you see it more clearly because one, depending on the device that you're looking at it from, which this device they're showing it from is actually the same monitor that Tiffany Billions actually recorded her part. That the 2-minute video that I put out about her having. That's the part that she recorded from the same monitor. So we're looking at this feed from that clarity, basically. And so, but the clarity that they showed us was from a 55-inch HD TV on the wall.
That is a lie. You cannot take low resolution video and, quote, make it more clearer by putting it on a bigger television display. The resolution you have, whether it's in a video sensor or a frame of film, the resolution you have is the resolution you have. Putting it on a bigger screen just shows bad resolution bigger. It doesn't add detail. He's lying. He didn't see a different video. He certainly didn't see a more clearer video taken by this same camera at the same time that was framed differently. Come on. He's just lying. Now, we're going to hear Turner claim that there was no evidence that the knife in question belonged to Karmelo Anthony. He thinks that it can't be Karmelo's knife because Karmelo's blood was not on the knife. Why would Karmelo's blood be on the knife when it was Austin who got stabbed in the heart? You'll also notice he won't call it a knife, he'll only call it a tool.
Well, this is Texas we're talking about.
Right.
Mostly everybody carries a tool on them. So it's just what that is. And so there was never any evidence proffered that one, it was Karmelo's, two, that there was no DNA or anything on it or blood that belongs to Karmelo on it. Also, they didn't even show the jury the actual evidence. The person said that they didn't want to wear gloves, so they brought a replica. That was the first time in history in court I ever seen them not bring the actual weapon.
That was a red. Cut you off, but that was a red flag to me because I'm like,
yes,
where in history someone pass away and they don't even bring the weapon? So it made me
pass away.
I started to think, who else had their hands on that weapon to the point that they didn't want to bring it in court? I'm thinking that there were other fingerprints on it because now that I see the level of the cover up that these people will go through, I don't believe, unless he says that, that he had it for whatever reason, he has it. But when I look at the pictures of Hunter and Austin, I see them going fishing and things like that. So it makes more sense that they had it. So I think that they had it and he somehow got it away from them or flipped it on them. And that could be the reason why everybody is so angry, because I just don't believe that he had it. I just don't.
Yeah, my thought on it, and this is my thought, and I'll say allegedly, and before I say it, from what I know and what I've seen, I believe that Hunter had it. And I know that just from the way that they dealt with this whole entire case. Everything is about blaming Austin. Put all the blame on Austin, because he's not here. But Hunter is the one that, by his own admission on WFAA Channel 8 News, on the same day that this happened, April the 2nd, hours after they're going to see your brother at the hospital, he stated that he was the one that started this issue and situation, and that his brother always had his back, whether he was right or wrong. And so I believe that Hunter took it out. Hunter's fingerprints are on it. His DNA is on it. And I think that's probably how Karmelo got the finger prick on his finger where the little blood is shown, where the cop said he noticed it later. I think is where he got it from, because he was trying to get away from them actually.
Okay. When I was watching this, getting ready for the show with Holly, she said to me, quote, "That guy so successfully lies that he's gaslighting me, and I know the truth." Yeah. Again, 117,000 subscribers to this woman's channel. Now we get to direct actionable libel against Father Jeff Metcalf. Listen to this. Both Keisha and Morris Dwayne Turner claimed that Jeff Metcalf, the father, posted on Facebook pictures of Jeff hosting a barbecue with all of the witnesses from the trial. That didn't happen. They called this witness intimidation. This never happened. There was no barbecue. There was no hangout with witnesses. Roll 210, please.
I'll send you the picture of his actual Facebook post, because he actually posted that day that they were having a barbecue and the kids are right there in the back and he's smiling and it's on his post. Yeah, he posted it. That's how arrogant and entitled they are.
Exactly. When I saw that, I said, "Is this real?" Because I couldn't believe what I was reading, and it was literally saying something about, the students, the witnesses, and I was like, huh? why are we advertising that we have the witnesses at my house and we're having a picnic? I said, no, this has to be fake. Like, this is not real. But you're saying it
Yeah,
is,
it's real.
in fact,
It's
fake.
real.
It's real. It
Yeah,
is real.
it's him. It's him. He did it. So he, like I said, they could not sit down when he was up there on TikTok for 18 hours talking to them people. You had an attorney come in the live and actually told him to get down, and he stayed up anyway. And it ended because he called somebody the N word and all that good old stuff. And then they stopped. He dropped. He went on somebody else's page for another few hours, and then they got off. But this is just how arrogant and how crazy these people are, because they have no chill button. They have no stop button. They just know to be who they are because they've been so entitled all their lives because of this lineage they have in Collin County and in the North Texas area and in the MAGA Republican Party. They just feel they're always going to be covered, just like his criminal history. That man violated somebody. They said no means no, and he went and did.
Okay. Let me clarify for you what Morris Dwayne Turner is saying when he said he's saying that Jeff Metcalf, the father of the slain boy, he's saying that Jeff Metcalf is a convicted sex offender. That's not true. He is saying that Jeff Metcalf violated somebody, that no means no, and he did it anyway. That is not true. This is actionable, true libel, the kind that Jeff can win in court. And Mr. Metcalf, if you happen to see this, please consider that. Please sue him. Even though you won't get any money from him, he's a lowlife. I know you won't. Please do it anyway. Throw the fear of God into these people. Make them suffer actual consequences for this. Black people act this way because they don't get punished for it. They don't suffer consequences. You can win this case, Mr. Metcalf. And I have the videos archived for you, and we'll give them to you if you contact me. This is, again, pure projection and reversal. Everything Turner is saying about white people with their lineage and how they just get away with everything is a confession about what people like him and black people like him have been doing. There's more. Now, Mr. Turner claims that Jeff Metcalf sent white people with guns in trucks into the Anthony neighborhood to scare them, like the Metcalfs are the clan of old. He describes Karmelo Anthony's parents as good people who moved to a nice neighborhood in Texas to shield their poor children from the racism what they had seen when they was kids. Play it out.
They moved them to Texas, to North Texas. They gave them an excellent life. They gave them a nurturing life. That man worked hard every day so his wife can be at home and be involved and make sure their kids had everything they had. That woman has guilt right now because she wished she could have been there that day when she was taking care of something else. Those are things that this family was doing for each other. They made sure that these kids had everything they had. And because of these entitled bullies and the whole family, from Jeff Metcalf on down, they had the caucasity to be in the Anthony's business about how they were providing for their family. Even to the point after he got arrested, they had people riding through their gated community in the back of a truck with weapons, running around screaming and hollering. For what reason? And it's like, y'all both are in Frisco. Why are you mad that neither one of y'all working? That's your fault. That's Megan's fault for working at a pizzeria. And so at the end of the day, we just need to understand that from the beginning of when they got here, I ain't talking about us, but when they got here, those folks have not liked anything that we've ever done.
He's narrating how black people live, how they hate white people, how black people don't work, how black people are jealous of whites, how black people haven't liked anything white people have ever done. Black Americans are full of seething resentment, envy, and jealousy, and it's a stain on their souls and their character. And everyone knows it's true. The libel doesn't stop there. Turner then takes aim at Judge John Roach, who presided over this murder trial, hold on to your seat. Mr. Turner is an extremely confident and bold man.
That's what they feel. And so that is why it's important to call this stuff out, like Candace Matthews did when she came up and did the protest thing on the county steps in Collin County. First thing she did is went pulled up records that a lot of people didn't know. We knew, but a lot of people didn't know that even Judge Roach had been charged for messing with an underage kid. And so that's why they did what they did and dismissed all those charges back in.
Go back, Dwayne. You going too fast now.
Oh, my bad.
Because I gotta get Dr. Candace Matthews. You said Judge Roach did what now?
Yeah, Candace Matthews actually uncovered that Judge Roach was actually charged at some point in time. I'll say accused. Let's go that way. Let's keep it PC. That Judge Roach was a junior, was accused of messing with an underage.
Is that all we have there? It's a judge. Okay. Notice what he just did. He moved between, he said two times that Judge Roach was charged with a sex offense. And then he tried to walk it back. He said, I'll say accused. Let's keep it PC. No. This is a sociopath who lies consciously and who does it quickly on the fly. I'm telling you the truth when I tell you that this is literally projection and reversal. Would you like proof? Here is Morris Dwayne Turner's entry on the sex offender registry in the state of Texas. He is a registered sex offender. His conviction came in 2017 for what? Indecency with a child. That is what the earlier video was referring to when it said, why did he drive 200 miles to meet an underage child? He is a convicted sex offender. All right. Miss Lakeisha Keisha gets pretty bold herself after learning from convicted sex offender Morris Dwayne Turner that you can libel the parents of murdered kids. You can libel the judge presiding over the murder case. You do get to just accuse them of sexually assaulting children and making shit up if you black. So first, excuse me, let's watch Keisha assert that white people have no right under any circumstances to ever tell black people to leave a space. Ever. No matter what. They don't have that right. White people don't have private property. White people are not entitled to tell a trespasser to leave an area that he's not entitled to be in if he is black. And she does this to mock the pain of Austin's mother, Megan, and his twin brother, Hunter. Let's roll number 250.
To make sure that you just hug your babies tight. Because you don't know.
Oops. Damn. This lady gonna sit up here crying about hug your babies tight. No, teach your kids to leave people the hell alone. Because mine, when they was going to school, they're not telling nobody to move out of a damn seat that they didn't pay for. Move out of the seat. Mind your business. Who the hell are you? How you gonna be a kid? We on the same level thinking you finna tell me to get up out my seat. You better get yourself out of here. It ain't happening. So the fact that you thought, and then y'all know these old folks actually think that it was okay for this boy to try to tell him to get up out of his seat. They really believe that. I'm just like, really? Now, so if a black person tell y'all to get y'all stinking tails up out of a seat, are you getting up? They have no respect for black people.
She just took my son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed by mostly our family, but this whole community has really wrapped their arms around us. And
let me read this, y'all. The mom left the dad once he caught that charge against a 1-year-old for SA when the twins was 4 years old and she got remarried. What does that tell us? Girl, and he keep lying saying it ain't him.
Okay. There's another libel. They're claiming that Jeff Metcalf now is a convicted sex offender with a 1-year-old child. What the fuck is wrong with you? I know what's wrong with these people. It is intolerable. This is intolerable It is intolerable in a civilized society that we have gotten to the point where these people are motivated to act this way, but it is intolerable that they get away with it. When are we going to say enough is enough? You're watching sociopathy, you're watching sadism. Keisha is happy to see Mrs. Metcalf crying. She's happy that she's crying for her murdered son. She thinks the real crime was a white kid telling a black trespasser kid to get the fuck out. And she thinks Austin deserved a stab in the heart. He got what he asked for. This accusation, because we're dealing with reversal. Keisha, I have a question for you, madam. Oh, I hope you see this video. Keisha, do you have a past that includes being charged for sexual assault against children? Keisha? Maybe I should look into that. One more before we wrap this up. I'm not going to set it up for you. I want you to hear this raw for yourself.
God's going to take care of everything. God's taking care of my son.
This man ain't nothing but a liar. He's already... Did he just say he already forgave the person who... Maybe he talking about his son, because he definitely ain't talking about Karmelo, because we know he done went on this watermelon felon rant and all type of other rants. I already forgave the person. I think he's talking about his son.
Kissed him. When I kissed him goodbye for the last time, I told him it's not goodbye, it's see you later. So I just have to trust in God and my faith to pull us through. I don't understand his plan. We're all subject to trial and tribulations. God didn't say life was going to be fair or wasn't going to be hard, but he said he'll always be beside you and never leave your side. So we're going to lean deep into our faith. There's a vigil tonight at our church at 7 o'clock. I will be attending also. The outpouring of students and coaches and friends and family that showed up at the hospital immediately. It was just shows the way my son touched people's lives. He was voted team MVP of the football team this year. He carried a 4.0. He was on National Honor Society. He's ranked in the top 50 of the state in his position. He's having D1 colleges contact him. He had a great life.
You know what I also think that's eating his father up? Imagine teaching your children the wrong thing and they actually leave this earth because of some shit you done taught them. I would feel like shit. I'm just going to keep it all the way a buck. I feel like this father knows that he effed up and there is no going back, because Austin ain't coming back. He ain't coming back. But just imagine you done taught your kids. Now, they become young adults, but you done taught them wrong shit. You done taught them that they better than black people, that they're better than whatever bullshit you taught them, you taught it to them. And it ultimately led to them leaving this earth. Well, I don't believe that Karmelo was the actual one that poked him. I believe the whole entire situation led to whatever happened to him. Because I believe, and this is just my perspective, and I can have my perspective. I don't give a damn who like it or who don't. I think one of them damn boys did it, and I believe preferably his brother. That's what I think.
That speaks for itself. Do you understand yet what Black America is about? Do you get it yet? Do you think that this is just a few bad apples? Because if you do, you better think again. It's not. It's the NAACP. It's nationally known black commentators on major network television and their white sympathizers. It is countless black people on social media. Anyone who wants a not all can go straight to fucking hell. We all know that there are black people who are horrified by what their cohort is doing. You can find good, sane, decent black commentators on YouTube, but they are the outliers. This is the soul of modern Black America. Govern yourselves accordingly.